Shabbos Daf Chav Daled. Please join us for our live Zoom share. Today we had 110 people that joined the live Daf from all over the world, from New York, from Brooklyn, from Los Angeles, from Melbourne, from South Africa. Please join us, 7:15 a.m. Israel time. The halacha is that we say Al Hanisim in Shemona Esrei because Al Hanisim comes to give praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu lahodos u'lahalal. Where do we insert it? In the part of Shemona Esrei that's praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu by Moedim. But in Birkas Hamazon, it's not necessary to say Al Hanisim. Birkas Hamazon is the Raisa, Al Hanisim, the whole concept of Chanukah is the Rabbanon. If one insists on saying Al Hanisim in Birkas Hamazon, he should insert it by the Hoidah part of Birkas Hamazon, by Noidalacha, and not where you insert Yalav Yavai, which is by Bnei Yerushalayim. Bnei Yerushalayim is a bracha that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should rebuild Yerushalayim, and we should have the Beis Hamikdash, we should be able to bring karbanos, and that's the tefillah of Yalav Yavai. Rav says that on Rish Chodesh, you say Yalav Yavai in benching. That's what we do today. Why is that? Because it's Doiraisa. Rish Chodesh is Doiraisa. Rav Chanina says, no, we don't say Yalav Yavai, since there's no Isser to do Melacha. You let it work on Rish Chodesh. The halacha is like Rav, because there's a brisa that Rabbi Shaya says, and it goes as follows. There's two categories. There's the category of days, like Rosh Chodesh and Chol Hamoed, that you bring a karban musaf, and there are days, like fast days, that you don't bring a karban musaf. The days that you bring a karban musaf, says Rabbi Shai in the Brisa, you say Yalav Yavai in Birkas Hamazon, and that's exactly what Rav says. In addition to that, you say Yalav Yavai in Shemona Esrei by Ritzei, and if you forget to say Yalav Yavai, you repeat Shemona Esrei unless it's the first day by Ma'ariv. And there's no Kiddush. We know you don't take a Kiddush cup and make Kiddush on Rosh Chodesh and Chol Hamoed. The days of a fast day, on Sheni v'Chamishi, that we fast for rain, or the Ma'amados, and that is, there were people that were Yisraelim that were designated from Klal Yisrael to represent the entire Klal Yisrael when they brought karbanos of the tzibur. Half of them, or part of them, went to the Beis Hamikdash, and part of them remained behind and fasted Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they said psukim and they daven that the karban should work for Klal Yisrael. That's Ma'amados. Those days, we say Anenu. When does the Gemara say Anenu? In all Shemona Esreis, Shachar, Mincha, Ma'ariv. Rashi brings the Ga'onim that we only say Anenu in Mincha like we do today. And the reason is that we shouldn't look like we are lying in our Shemona Esrei. Perhaps a person will have an oinus and he'll eat by mistake, and it'll be a lie. However, Tosfos points out that the Shliach Tzibur should say Anenu in Shachar, because it's impossible that from the entire Tzibur there won't be at least one person who's fasting a complete fast. Rav Huna and Rav Yehuda hold that you don't say Al Hanisim by Musaf on Shabbos and Rosh Chodesh, on Chanukah. Since Chanukah is not the cause for Musaf, there is no Musaf for Chanukah. The other Shita is that you do say Al Hanisim because all the other Shemona Esreis have Al Hanisim in them, and we don't want to make Musaf different from the other Shemona Esreis. The Raya for Rav is from a very similar case. Yontif that falls out on Shabbos, we don't mention Yontif in the Haftarah of Mincha. In those days, Rashi says they would say Haftarah by Mincha until the Parsim came and they did away with that minhag. But nevertheless, even though it's Yontif, you're not mentioning Yontif because there is no Haftarah because of Yontif. Even though Yontif itself invokes Haftarah sometimes, but not today. So that's a good raya. What's not a good raya is from the other case, that Rosh Chodesh that falls out on Shabbos, you don't mention, and that's what we do today, we don't mention Rosh Chodesh in the Haftarah brachas of Shachris. And the reason is, the Gemara says this is not a good raya because Rosh Chodesh never invokes Haftarah. There is never a concept of Haftarah and Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh just happens to be today, which is Shabbos. The Gemara says that Allah is like Yeshua ben Levi. In another similar case, Yom Kippur that falls out on Shabbos, by Ne'ilah we mention Shabbos. Even though we never have a Ne'ilah on Shabbos, the whole Ne'ilah is only because of Yom Kippur, nevertheless we mention Shabbos. The halacha is that we mention Chanukah Al Hanisim by Musaf. Now on Shabbos Rosh Chodesh, according to Rashi, we do mention Rosh Chodesh and Haftarah, but as Tosfos points out, and the halacha is like Tosfos, we don't. And the halacha is not that we don't say Yontif in the Haftarah of Mincha of Shabbos, but Leil Shabbos, Friday night, is different. Friday night, when the Shliach Tzibur says Chazar Shashatz Me'in Sheva, and it's Yontif, we don't mention Yantif. Why is it? Because the whole reason you do Chazar Shashatz by Ma'ariv of Shabbos is because of Sakana. The shul was always out in the field, and we're concerned about somebody coming late to shul, and he would have to leave after everybody left, and he'll be by himself, and the Mazikim will get him. So they prolonged the Ma'ariv. On a weekday, people didn't go to shul in those days. So because it's a Sakana, we said Chazar Shashatz, but it's only because it's a Sakana, and there's no reason to mention Yantif. In the Mishnah, there are two shitas that say the same exact thing, that you should not light from chela, from fat, whether it's cooked or uncooked. One of the shitas, though, is different, because one of those shitas holds that if you add olive oil to the mix of diluted fat, of melted fat, it's actually mutter to use. Says the Mishnah, you don't use shemen sreifa on yantif. As we explained yesterday, shemen sreifa is truma oil that became tamei, and you must burn. Halachically, you have to burn. You cannot burn it on yantif, as we had the other day. Now, shemen sreifa, the reason why you can't use, is because you cannot burn that oil on yantif. Even though you have a concept of asay, the asay of burning the oil should push off the loisasa of you should not make a fire on yantif, which is not for food. There's three reasons given. Either because it says ad boiker twice, and the second time comes to tell us to the second morning you have to wait to burn it until chalamayit. Rava says, or Abaye says, oilas Shabbos b'Shabbatoi. You bring the oila on Shabbos, but you don't bring the oila of the weekday on Shabbos or on Yantif. So certainly, if you cannot bring a oila on Yantif, so certainly you cannot bring oil that's puzzle. And Rava says, "Hu levada yasalachem." We learn from the pasuk, "Who you cannot make machshirim, you can't make knives on Yantif. Levadoi, you cannot make a bris milah for a child that's not on his 8th day. If it's 9th, 10th day, it's already pushed off. You don't make a bris milah, even though there's a kal v'chomer that you should be able to. So if you cannot do a bris milah, we learn from here that anything that's pushed off, you push it off until after Yantiv, including this oil. And Rav Ashi says, even though we have an esed that should push off a lois aseh, but Yantiv is actually an aseh and a lois aseh. And one aseh does not push off an aseh and a lois aseh. Have a wonderful day.